Hello and welcome to lesson 6, where we're going to start looking at wave mechanics and how minions work. For this we made a practice tool game against a Lux bot. At the start of the game we can just buy a Doran's Blade or anything like that. We put the Lux bot to bottom lane, but we're going to TP to top lane. And we can speed the game up a couple times. It becomes very important to understand minion mechanics because it's going to help us identify ganks, objective plays, and what to do after ganks later on. Since you sped up the game, the minions aren't going to come into the lane super normal. The casters might be in the front, but that's not important. We're just going to be practicing different mechanics and just sort of playing around with the minion waves. So the things I want us to try to do are pushing waves quickly, pushing waves slowly, resetting waves, bouncing waves, and freezing waves. And what you should do is you should just try different things with the minions, try pushing them at different speeds, and see what happens. So in this case, we crashed quite a lot of minions into the enemy tower, and we can just kind of sit back and see what happens. Well, this wave arrived, and now it's here. What's going to happen after this is the next wave is exiting the enemy base over here, and it's going to arrive here, and it's going to stack up with this wave, and it's going to push to this tower. That would be a bounce. But we could make it into a freeze as well. So let's try to do that. To freeze a wave, we consult a graphic like this, which shows us where in the wave we can freeze depending on how many more minions the enemy wave has. If we want to freeze close to the tower, we'll want there to be about 3 more red minions. And because I've been alt-tabbed, there's a lot more, so we're going to have to clear out a bunch of them. This is fine. It's okay if it's a little more. So now if we hide in the bush, this wave should stay here even until the next wave. Those minions are pretty low HP, so this might end up pushing out on the wave after the next wave. But it'll stay frozen at least for the next wave. Which would be a good time to try to slow push. So here we want to stack up a lot of waves. We're just going to last hit things as late as we can. And it's okay if you miss last hits. We're practicing to be a jungler, so the last hits don't really matter too much. But we're trying to stack up with the wave behind us to allow us to crash a really big wave into the enemy tower. Which here we could blow up this wave and get a really good crash. And this wave is huge. And if say this is after a gank and the enemy is dead for a long time, they would end up missing a lot of this if they don't have TP or something like that. The most common thing you're going to do after a gank is just blow up the wave as fast as possible. So suppose, we gank and we kill an enemy, This wave state we might not want to change since it's going to slow push back to our ally and they'll get a lot of farm. But suppose, let's let them stack up a wave and this is going to push back. Suppose we are fighting and we're ganking and we kill an opponent in the wave and some AoE spells hit. And the wave looks more like this. It's pretty even, or maybe there's slightly more allied minions. What we would want to do for our ally is just kill the whole wave as fast as possible so that it crashes into the tower and the wave resets. And then this would crash into the tower. Our opponent would miss a lot of minions. And when the future waves arrive, they'll either reset the lane or bounce to our ally, and our ally will get a lot of farm when they're back. So for this lesson, I think you should just go into a practice tool, put a Lux bot on the enemy team for bot lane. It just keeps the minion levels the same or similar. And just mess around with the minion wave. Try to kill the minions as fast as possible. Try to kill the minions as slowly as possible. Try to get the wave to reset. Try to build a slow push. Try to bounce a wave off the enemy tower. And try to get a freeze.